Okay, guys, this is part 2, the delivery. So, I think I left off where it was 1:30, and we had just gotten sent to a room, and I pretty much labored on the birthing ball and in the shower. So, the shower felt amazing. The hot water that goes down your back, oh, it hits right in that spot where the contractions are, and it's just amazing. It helped me get through it so amazingly. I needed it to survive. They asked me like 3 times to come out of the shower. The nurse did, to monitor me and monitor the baby and put those straps over your stomach and all that crap. And I was like, no. I'm not coming out of the shower. You're going to have to drag me out. Like, this is the only spot I can be in right now. And if I have to walk anywhere, this baby's going to fall out. And at that point, I was scared to deliver because I know how bad it hurts. And I know with that ring of fire and the pushing. And I knew it was coming. And I know that's what you have to go through to have the baby. But I was just, no. I was pretty scared, so I was kind of holding off. Anyway, we got the first round of antibiotics in by 2:30, and then the birthing ball made it worse, way worse. Like, it spread my hips and more pressure. I couldn't do it. I was leaning over the bed. She was trying to get the baby's heartbeat with the Doppler, and I was like, get that shit off my stomach. Like, if she would have touched me with that Doppler one more time, I was going to punch the nurse in the face. And then she kept asking me to go on the bed so she could put the monitor, the straps on. And I'm like, God. I was like, isn't there another way around this? Like, it's just, I don't want to be out of the shower. I don't want you to put those things on my stomach. Stop. So then my midwife comes in, Lynn, and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, she keeps putting the straps on my stomach. I don't mean to be a bitch, but she is irritating me, and it's not helping. And she's like, well, I'm going to have to talk with her. She took her out. After that, the straps were no more, and I didn't have to get out of the shower. And the nurse was getting completely soaking wet, trying to monitor me and the baby in the shower, but I didn't care because it was my labor, and I was in pain. So, you need to just listen to the mother at that point. And for my first delivery, my husband and my mom were in the room again, and the first time around, they had brought, my mom brought burgers in, and I could smell it, and all I got to eat was that broth and Jell-O, and I was so pissed. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, you're bringing burgers in here. I could smell everything. I could smell the burger. So this time around, I was laughing so hard because she brought in food. I mean, I get it. Like, you get hungry from sitting there watching somebody in labor. It's so hard. I get it. So she brought in food from God knows where, and she's like crouching behind the whatever that thing is called where they put the baby after he's born with the plastic sides, the little bassinet. I don't know what it is, on wheels. She's like crouched, hiding behind this thing, eating, while I'm like hunched over the bed in labor, like watching her hide, eating her food. I just couldn't. And then me and my husband were cracking jokes because I don't know if you guys get Tosh.0 on Comedy Central, if you guys have it, whatever. It's a show here in the States, and it's funny. It's a comedy show. And he did a skit. Well, there was, I guess, a video on YouTube of this girl giving birth, and she just kept screaming, like, my ass hurts. Why does it hurt my ass? And for some reason, like, that video, I just kept thinking of it, and I was laughing so hard. I was like, it doesn't really hurt. I mean, to me, it didn't really hurt there, but I was laughing so hard. I told my husband, I was like, you have to show her that video. I don't think she's seen it. So we were just kind of like laughing through it until I think it was like 4 o'clock. The contractions started getting really bad, and then like to the point where you can't even think through them. So got back in the shower. I'm like, it's coming. I was like, it's coming. It's so close. I can feel it. I feel like I'm gonna die, and that's how you know you're at the end. So by this time, I was getting the second round of antibiotics. 4:30 rolls around, and then 5 o'clock, and then the midwife comes in at around 5:30, and she's like, do you feel the urge to push yet? And I'm like, kinda, but I'd rather just stand here in the shower. So she's like, okay, it's up to you. You're fine. When do you want, whenever you want me to check you, it's fine. I was like, come back in like a half an hour, check me. So 6 o'clock rolls around, comes in and checks me. She's like, you're 10. You can start pushing if you want to. And she's like, I have 7 other women in here in labor. Don't you want to be the first one to give birth? And I was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, no. She's like, it's crazy in here right now. She's like, there's 7 other women in here literally giving birth right now. And she's like, one is at 8 centimeters, you are 10. So she's like, you could be the first one to deliver right now if you want to. You have my full attention. She's like, in a couple minutes, I'm going to have 4 other women giving birth. So she's like, you need to do something. And I'm like, got a point. So I was like, all right. She's like, you have the second round. The antibiotics just went in. You're good. Like, if the baby comes down, you are good. The baby is good. So I was like, all right. I was like, let's just do this. So I got out of the shower. As soon as I got out of the shower, contractions picked up times 10. She's like, do you want me to break your water because it hasn't broken yet? I'm like, no, because I know that it's going to be way worse if you do that, and I don't think I can take anymore. So she's like, okay, well, it's going to break while you're delivering. I'm like, I don't care. So I was laying on the bed, and she's like, well, push, and I started pushing, and it was like 6:30 at this time, and I pushed like once or twice, and my mom was like, oh, God. She's like, I could see the head, and then when you would push, and then you would stop, and it would go back up. She's like, I was getting so discouraged, and she's like, you just need to push. I'm like, okay, because you're definitely doing this right now, so yeah, just push. Okay, rah rah. Like, I was so pissed. She had one leg, my husband had the other leg, and then an arm, because it was painful. It was really hard for me. I had no energy left. I had been laboring for like 2 days. I was like exhausted, literally just exhausted. And from standing in the shower for hours, I was exhausted. So, she's like, just push. I'm like, oh yeah. I couldn't have been any more just exhausted. And I was like, I am pushing. I'm pushing as much as I can. I can't do this. I feel like I'm going to die. Somebody's going to have to like push on my stomach and push this baby out, or you're going to have to go up and get it because I can't. And at that point, she's like, push. Just keep pushing. Don't stop. So I pushed, didn't stop, and she's like, well, breathe. I'm like, well, you're going to have to pick. If you want me to breathe or you want me to push, because it's going to be one of the two. So I was, I was pushing, breathing, trying to do everything at once, and then he was born at 6:49 p.m. Cole William, and he was 8 pounds and 20 inches long. And they put him on my chest, and he was just amazing. And you forget he was beautiful. You just forget how small they were. Like, I looked at him, and I'm like, oh my God, is he a preemie? He's so tiny. Is something wrong? And they're like, no, he's 8 pounds. He's a big boy. I was like, what's wrong with him, though? Like, I have a 2-year-old running around who's huge to me, and this baby is, he was so fragile and tiny. You just forget. You totally forget how small they are. He had dark brown hair, and it looks, even now, his eyes are kind of brown. I'm really rooting for brown, because I have brown. My husband has blue. My first son has blue, like him, so I'm really rooting for the brown. He was just beautiful, so that was that. They put him on my chest, and there he was. So that was the birth of Cole, and as I was pushing, she broke my water. I remember feeling it. The warm fluid just running down onto the pads that they had underneath me. Ugh. Yeah. So that was that. And then you deliver the placenta, and I did the placenta encapsulation, so I told her ahead of time. She took it out, put it in a bucket. It's really weird. Put it in a bucket on ice. My mom stayed a couple minutes, saw the baby, cried. She didn't even hold him. She was like, I got it. I'm going to take the placenta. She was so serious, and yeah, so she took it, put it in the fridge at home, and then when we left the hospital to pick up my son, took it home with us, and then the placenta lady came and did my placenta the next day at my house. So that was labor and delivery of Cole, and it was a lot better than my first labor and delivery. I knew what to expect. I knew it was going to happen. I knew what I was going to feel. And I knew what had to happen for the baby to be born and what you have to go through. So you're more prepared, physically and emotionally and mentally. And that was the best part about it. And you can handle labor better. At least I did. I could breathe through it better. Everybody was asking me, did you take the classes? You're doing so good with labor. I'm like, they're like, you didn't even get any pain as an epidural. Most women were screaming for it. And believe me, at the end, when I was pushing, I was begging for it. Like, the ring, she's like, you're going to feel the ring of fire. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I feel everything. It's pretty intense. And when you're pushing that baby out, you want that epidural more than you want to breathe. And I don't know, it's just, You know that's the end, though. You know it's the end. Like, as soon as you want the meds, there's your baby on your chest. So, I knew going into it, I could do it from the first time, and I knew what it took to do it. So, I just kind of pushed through. Had the baby. You don't need the meds. You don't. I mean, women have been giving birth for centuries. You don't need them. At least in my opinion. I don't judge women who get them. I totally get where you're coming from if you get an epidural. It hurts like shit. And, you know, more power to you. I just, personally, I don't like being in a bed. I don't like not being told that I can't walk around with my baby. I don't like being told that, you know, I don't like the feeling of numbness, and I'm petrified of needles. So all that adds up to, I just don't want it. I'd rather go through the pain. I'd rather go through the pain of the childbirth than get that epidural. That's just me. I don't judge women for getting it, or C-sections or anything. It's your body, it's your baby. You know, do whatever you want to do. So, I mean, in the end, we're all moms. So, yeah, that's my video on labor and delivery. And if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I'll do more videos. I'm going to do a video about Cole meeting his brother, and I'm going to do a separate video on the placenta encapsulation and the cost and how it's making me feel so far, and then the tincture that she did for me, and the broth, and she left me the umbilical cord, which is really cool. I have to show you, and I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, I just want to do a few more videos, get those out of the way, and then get back to baby. I will have him on camera more, I promise. It's just, I want to get all these, the videos leading up to him out of the way. So, yeah. I think that's it for this video, too. I talked for like half an hour about my labor and delivery, but, oh yeah, and no tears. I didn't have any tears during this delivery. With my first son, I had, a first-degree tear that had 2 stitches, and the healing was, oh my god, I was begging not to tear because it just, healing was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. You have to use the peri bottle when you pee, and it hurts to pee, and it hurts to walk, and just not good. So luckily I didn't tear. That's the best part. So, and we left the day after I had him. So it was a good recovery and everything like that. So that's it. I guess I will work on the other 2 videos and let you guys know what's going on. Cole has his 2-week appointment, even though he'll be 3 weeks. He's 3 weeks today, but he has his 2-week appointment tomorrow. I don't know. Okay, so I'll update you guys later, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.